Hi guys, and welcome back to my whatever, and in case you're new here, my name's Lady and this is my whatever, the place where I do whatever I feel like. And in today's video, I'm going to do a book haul because I haven't done one of those in a little while, and I've actually gone book shopping twice. Yep, 2 whole times, and I haven't shown you the haul. So I've gathered the things together for a haul today. I do want to note real fast, my lighting's better. I still have some shadows. Did you see that? Yeah, I still have some shadows, but that's just because my lighting isn't in really good spots because this is my living room. It's not my studio because, you know, studio still ain't done. So anyway, moving on to the book haul. There's one book I will tell you it is not here. I will start with that actually. The first book that I don't have in front of me is from the Seraphina trilogy. It is the third and final book of the trilogy. It is The Splintered Heart. So I'm not really going to go into a whole lot of telling you what it's about, seeing as how it is the third book, and if you haven't read the first or second, I could potentially be spoiling it. But basically the gist of the whole thing is it's about a girl named Seraphina and her friend Braden, and there's like magical beings like shapeshifters and sorceresses, and you know, the like that are trying to take over the land where they live, and Seraphina and Braden have to defeat evil. So I absolutely love them. If you are interested and you haven't read them, they are on my other channel, my book channel. The link to that is in the description, where it always is. Please go check it out. Books 1 and 2 are already there. Book 3 is almost all up. So feel free to go check that out. To the books that I do have, the reason I don't have that one in front of me is because it's currently up in my reading nook, and I just didn't want to go fetch it. So anyway, laziness on my part. Okay, so the other books that I got. There's not really a whole lot, which is unusual for me, I know. First book. Second book? Considering I already said the one. Well, first book that I have to show you physically. Got Artemis Fowl by Aaron, there's no R, Ian Colfer. I don't actually know how to say that, but that's what we're going to go with. Anyway, this is the first book of the Artemis Fowl books. I have like a sporadic few of those, as I just randomly pick them up when I find them at thrift stores and whatnot. So I'm not really sure exactly which ones I have. I'm working on a list to keep track of things because I too often buy duplicates of the same book unintentionally. I can read the synopsis of this one to you because it is the first in the series, and it says, who is Artemis Fowl? A genius, a criminal mastermind, a millionaire, and he is only 12 years old. Yep. And it says, basically, it says, Artemis doesn't know what he's taken on when he kidnaps a fairy, Captain Holly Short, of the LEP Recon Unit. Yes, it's like Leprechaun. Anyway, these aren't the fairies of bedtime stories. These fairies are armed and they're dangerous. Artemis thinks he's got them just where he wants them, but then they stop playing by the rules. Do fairies ever really play by the rules though? That seems like a general rule of thumb. They don't. So next, 2, 3, whatever you want to call it. This is Pegasus by Kate O'Heron, and it is The Flame of Olympus. See, I do this thing too. If you've seen me before, you know. If you are new, like I said, I buy these when I find them at thrift stores, so I don't have full collections, and I also have a habit of buying books that I have never ever heard about before. This is one of them. So because it said The Flame of Olympus, it gives me the impression that there are more of these. So I don't know if this is the first one or not. It sounds like the first one based on the synopsis. It says, when Pegasus crashes onto the roof of Emily Manhattan's apartment, her life changes forever. Emily is thrust into the center of a fierce battle between the Roman gods and a terrifying race of stone warriors called the Nereids. So, mythology. She's friends with Pegasus. You know. Hercules' friend. Okay, so that's that one. Next. This is The House of Dark Shadows by Robert Leporello? Something like that. Anyway, this isn't, oh, well, yeah, right up there. Can you see that? Dreamhouse Kings, Book 1. Did it again. Oh no, there's a little sticker. Let's see. Anyway, something about living in a small town. A 15-year-old Xander is beyond disappointed. He and his friends love to create amateur films, but the tiny town of Pinedale is the last place a movie buff and future filmmaker wants to land. But he and his friends are captivated by the many rooms in an old Victorian fixer-upper they moved into, as well as the heavy woods surrounding the house. They soon discover there's something odd about the house. Sounds come from the wrong directions. Prints of giants' bare feet appear in the dust. What? Prints of giants' bare feet appear in the dust. And when David tries to hide in the linen closet, he winds up in locker 119 at his new school. Magic. Mythology. All the good things that I find interesting in books. I went out of focus, I'm sorry. Okay. Next. Another one that I know nothing about. Actually, there's only 2 of these that I actually know anything about. Unless you count Serafina that I talked about in the beginning. Then there's 3. This one is called The Raven Boys by Maggie something or other. Stiffivator. I don't know. Figure that one out. Anyway, this one I do know is a series. I knew that one to start with because I actually read the rest of the cover where it said book 1 of the Raven Cycle, whereas the others I didn't go that far into it. I did pay attention to this one. And here's a frustrating thing about this book. Okay, all these books, I got them at thrift stores. They came with stickers with the prices on them, and they peeled off quite nicely. On this one, however, when I peeled off the sticker, the backing stuff came off of it, and I'm very upset. So there's like words missing. Granted, but look at that. Look, that is like a mirror. What is that? Anyway, at least, like, I'm kind of upset about the way it defaced the book. I'm way confused about the mirror underneath, but I only paid what? 50 cents for this? Thrift shopping is cool. And it didn't take off any of the actual synopsis. It was just like the critic reviews. So I can forgive the thrift store for putting the sticker on this book. Because, I mean, why can't they put the stickers on the inside covers? I mean, I will gladly just open the book to look at it. That's fine with me. But anyway, enough of the ranting. Anyway, this one is about... This says at the top, there's a quote. It says, "There are only 2 reasons a non-seer would see a spirit on St. Mark's Eve. Either you're his true love or you killed him." And then it gives like a basic little character description, and then it says, "For as long as she can remember, Blue," so the character's name is Blue, by the way, "and Blue has been warned that she will cause her true love to die. She doesn't believe in true love and never thought this would be a problem. But as her life becomes caught up in the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, she's not so sure anymore, and my cat is trying to knock everything off my table. I will be right back." Doctor, get down. Ugh. I trusted you. You were the good boy. I'm back. So, where was I? Okay. Got it. That I know nothing about. Yep, that's right. This is called Beyond the Mango Tree. Beyond the Mango Tree. By Amy something or other. Amy Brownen Zimser. Zemser. Yep. This one, it said something that like caught my attention at the beginning. Because this was what sold it for me. It said, Sabrina is tied to a mango tree. It won't be forever. Her mother never leaves her tied for long. Is this like a book about like an abused child that like needs therapy? Is this what this is going to be? Is this going to be like a child called It? Something like that. It says, the trick Sabrina knows is to concentrate on pleasant things. And then suddenly a group of children appear and they make fun of her, but the one boy helps her and they run. So I guess she's being mistreated at home or whatever, and then she like makes friends with this boy and they run away together, I guess? I don't know. Speaking of which, that reminds me of a show that I watched recently. Yep. If you haven't watched, it's the end of the, not it's, if you haven't watched the end of the effing world on Netflix yet, you should do that. However, forewarning, I didn't like the ending. But I liked everything else about it. So, yep. Next. This was from a older book spree. Actually, the next two books that I'm going to show you were the other two that I bought at the time that I bought Serafina. All the other ones that I've physically shown you so far came from the thrift store. But these other two in Serafina came from Barnes & Noble. This one, I do know what this is about, because it was made into a movie and I saw the movie before I knew it was a book. So anyway, this one is called It's Kind of a Funny Story. And, oh, that confused me. Okay. It's by Ned Vizzini, but then at the bottom it says, forwarded by New York Times bestselling author Rachel Kahn. So I got confused because I saw the two names, but they weren't Anyway. So this one, basically, I think what happened was, from what I vaguely remember of the movie, was that there was a boy and he either tried to kill himself or threatened to kill himself or something, and he winds up in getting checked in at a hospital with all these other patients that have problems, and it's funny. They try to make light of a dark situation. So, what is it? Okay, so basically, from what the synopsis says, is that he was an academic student who the stress and anxiety of it all became a little too unbearable, and he quit eating and sleeping, and one night he tried to kill himself, so he got himself put in a mental hospital with a few other people who are very interesting, and he confronts the sources of his anxiety. It's quote, confronts the sources of his anxiety. So I remember I absolutely loved the movie, and when I finished it and found out that it was based on a book, I became hooked on the idea of finding this book, but I just wasn't finding it. And when I went to Barnes & Noble that day, I just happened, I had been there for maybe 2 hours trying to decide what I wanted and what I didn't want, and it was getting close to closing and I had to make a decision, and I hadn't even seen this one the entire time I was there. And as I'm walking through going, I had 50 books that I wanted and I don't have enough money for all that. What am I gonna get? I turned around and there it was. And I was like, that's it. That's the book. So that's that one. This one was another last minute before I left, because I went to Barnes & Noble specifically for Serafina so that I could read it on my channel, and then I had a gift card, okay? So I went there for that, and I had some money left over on the gift card, so I was like, okay, let's see what else I can get. So yeah, I spent forever on these two books. So I saw that one. I turned around and saw It's Kind of a Funny Story. Well, I had been looking all over, picking all these books that I was interested in, and I'm like, oh, that one sounds good, oh, I've heard that one's good, well, that one looks interesting. And I'm like, okay, I'm down to the wire, I need to pick a book. So basically, I'm sitting on the floor at Barnes & Noble, and I'm looking, and I've got like 3 books in my hand that I'm like, I'm gonna get a book from this shelf, 100%. So I'm looking and I'm comparing, and finally I decide on this one. And this one is The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. Now this is one that I didn't really know much about, but I feel like I had seen it on my Instagram before. So I was like, okay, so I was definitely drawn to it because I'm like, I know I've seen that cover somewhere before. So I pull it open and it says, are you tired? Are you scared? Are you tired of being scared? And are you angry? It says, we know what they did, and then it names a bunch of kids at the school. And it says, we know they raped Lucy. So now I've got it in my head that maybe this is like a 13 Reasons Why type of vibe. It says, we know they raped Lucy. We know they have hurt others, and probably many of us, we know they will hurt more. So, not to say that 13 Reasons Why, as in like, these girls are gonna go off and like hurt themselves, but there was like a secret being kept and they're gonna do something about it. It sounds to me like they're going to expose them. So, anyway, so it was this book that I was sitting on the floor deciding, yep, this is the book I'm gonna get, and then I got up and turned around, and there was, it's kind of a funny story. It was like fate. So, and that's all I got. I know, it's kind of short, isn't it? I only had like 7 to physically show you, and then Seraphina's up and away. But I do have it. Like I said, if you're interested, please go check out my other channel. Link is in the description. I read books over there, and I post 1 chapter every single day, with the exception of if it is the day of the final chapter, I will post the description of the next book the same day, just to give you a taste of what is coming the next day. And currently over there I have the entire 11 Thump series, and I am almost done with Seraphina, so please feel free, go check it out. Like them, like this one, subscribe to both, that'd be great. And feel free to share this channel, share that channel, share them all. Share it with friends, share it with your mother, share it with your brother, everybody. And I guess that's it. This is whatever this was. It was a book haul, I guess. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.